Hello everyone, I'm just checking if everything is okay, if you can hear me. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, that's better. I had my sounds on the YouTube screen that I have next to my setup and I could hear myself twice. That would have been a big nightmare for the entire stream. So welcome everyone. I'm glad to have you today. As you know, it's been a little while since we had a fight night, given the recent login and crashes issues that we had to face. We postponed the one we were supposed to get running last week, and we are now running it today. I see that we already have a few people in the chat. Aiden, you're saying that you got banned on Discord for typing an Australian flag. To me, that sounds like a mistake. If that is indeed the reason why you were taken out of the Discord server, so please reach out either to me directly via Discord, because you should still be able to do that, or reach out to support. If you are not able to reach directly to me, they will forward me all the information and we can look into that. If there was no reason for the Discord ban, obviously that will be lifted. There's no reasons for that. Usually with those kind of things, it's a misinterpretation or a misunderstanding between parts. I'm not saying it's the case here. I didn't see the details, but we can usually sort this out. Yeah, I'm also here to kick asses, actually, Kim, but we'll see, because with my builds in general, I'm getting my ass kicked most of the time, but yeah, I see that we have Matt Remar here. Welcome. Nappy as well is writing in a language that I don't fully understand. So I hope that whatever you're saying is positive and that we don't have anything to be worried about in what you're typing in there. In general, I know it's the same when our Polish-speaking players are posting in the chat. If you can, it's all fine to say hi in your own language and own writing, but after that, please try to stick to English, just so that we know what's going on and we can monitor what's happening in there. I see that we have RS64B, welcome. I'm just waiting 1 or 2 more minutes and then we'll be able to start with the fight night. For those that didn't see in the description, you can already see a list of 55 players. That's the players that registered for the easy/normal mode. And then we'll have the advanced/hardcore mode going after that. Since there are a lot more players in the advanced/hardcore mode, but also since the battles are usually a lot longer, we're doing it afterwards. The idea is that we will most likely do the entire list of the people that registered as the easy fight. It's 55 people, but that should be rather quick, and if it's quick indeed, we'll be able to take just as many players for the advanced hardcore mode. We'll see, depending on how fast things are going, but the idea is just to not have to run another fight night tomorrow. That would be recorded for just like 5 or 10 players in the easy mode. That wouldn't make sense, and the video would be just taking a lot of time to make, edit, put on YouTube for basically a very, very low benefit. So that's why we're working it this way for this week. Okay, so I see that we have Tyler Andy as well. Best clan in the in the game. Bonk, you're dead. Okay. You want me to put the countdown from 200 on the other spin? Yeah, I can actually do that. If that's something that would make your life easier, folks, I can do that. The only thing is sometimes it does happen that I need to restart completely the game before it actually shows up. But we'll see if it is showing up directly in there. if that's the case, then it will be a fairly easy way to go. Let's do this right away. Yeah, let me just restart the game really quickly. This way we will be sure that it shows up in there. Just a second. Yes, there we go. It should be restarting. And we should have the 200 spins. So mostly right now you can see something that I'm happy with, and it's the fact that there's no more crashes when logging into the game. I'm just saying that even though I'm playing for this fight night on an iOS device, so that was not concerned by the crashes, but it's a way for me to introduce that topic and apologize again on behalf of the entire team for the different issues that you guys had to face in the last couple of days especially, but in the entire week for some players. Yeah, that's definitely not the standards we usually aim for, so definitely something for us to improve on. Can you guys tell me if the sound is okay? I just realized that my microphone was a bit further away than usual, so if anyone in the chat can confirm to me that you can hear me well and that everything is clear, then we'll be able to get going. The auto spin is on. We have 200, so you will be able to follow from there. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, RS64B, for confirming. And we should be able to start. I will just put back on the other screen the list on my end because I want to see what is going on and where we stand. There we are. And I'm just rechecking that I have the good list. Yes, everything is still as it should be. So we can start with the easy mode. Let's go. Okay, so that's a real beginner army to start with. That's kind of a great thing because it's really rare that we have proper beginners in here. So I'm quite glad that we had a real proper beginning army in there. It's always nice to see. So not much to say about the build. I slightly altered it compared to last time, but it's very minimal. I would say this is for me the example of type of players that should play in the other modes, because come on guys, artifacts level 5 and 4, you're too good for that level. You can definitely go for the more advanced one. And you see, that's the reason why I was saying we can squeeze in the 55 accounts from that section, because I know it's going to be super fast. Let's actually count how many players will not have at least one level 5 artifact in this section. That will be a good way to know if we still have a lot of players that are going for the easy target there. And it's a bit sad because, guys, with the new prices, it's really better for you to go for the other tournament, right? It's way better. Even if you lose, you would make more, right? Oh, you won? You won, MichelPL. Yeah. RS64B, you tried with the hardcore and you were defeated. It depends on when you tried. Obviously, there will be cases where it won't work, but that's the game as well, right? You cannot always win, and especially the thing is, even if you lose, most of the time it will still give you more gems, and you will also get a better experience in the end, because of course it's nice to win, it's a nice feeling, but when you win and there's no fights, like it currently is the case, like there's a 10-second fight, I mean, it makes my life easier, you know, the stream is shorter this way, but that's not necessarily the funniest experience to go for. Yeah, so I was saying that, again, we're very sorry about the issues that you experienced. For those of you that might not be checking Discord too often, we shared a rather detailed explanation as to what happened, what we've done to fix these issues, and as far as I can say for now, it seems mostly resolved. There are a few players that reported that things are still not working perfectly for them. We're looking into that. But it still seems to be very, well, way better than it was, of course, a few days ago. But if we look even at the number of crashes in general in the past 24 hours for this new version, we are up to a crash rate level that we haven't seen on Androids almost since before the summer. So that's a very good performance back. Hopefully it will soon be the case as well for the few players that still face issues. I'm quite confident that we will find what is causing them some issues there. My gut feeling is that there's still some cache issues with their accounts. Not necessarily the app cache, maybe it's the Google Play game app cache that is causing issues. But that would be my gut feeling there, that there's still a cache issue there that explains why they're still facing crashes, and hopefully that will be resolved super quick. At least that's what I hope, and we'll see. So I'm starting to feel like this first account that we had in this fight night was just there to make me not feel too bad about what was about to come, because yeah, I'm mostly getting my ass kicked. Oh, this is the first fight with a player that does not have level 5 artifacts, and suddenly it's a lot more balanced. I'm still gonna get my ass kicked, but it's way more balanced. Oh, maybe I'm gonna win this one. Would it be? Ah, no, I don't think so. Ah, that was a close one. Okay. But that's good, because that shows me that it is properly balanced for players that would have level 3, 4 kind of artifacts. And that's pretty much what I target with this mode. It's players that are between artifacts level 2 to 4. That's what I would be aiming at. But yeah, let's see. For example, here's the typical player that I expect to be facing in this mode. And see, he's still gonna probably be able to defeat me, but at least there's a fight that makes a lot more sense. It is a lot more unpredictable. There's a lot more strategy going on between which build is going to make it. And it's not something where we can predict as simply who is gonna be able to make it, you know, and that's a very, very nice feeling, I would say. You see, I still lost, and the player had lower artifacts than I did, but because this player had the good strategy, and my strategy is mostly pretty bad, that worked out fine. So that's a very nice fight to witness and learn from, for me, obviously, but also for this player. I hope that this player will be able to see and benefit from that fight in there, obviously. So I'm trying to follow and see where we're at, because things are happening so fast at the moment. Oh, we already have 20 battles that are gone. So 20 players have passed, well, 21 now. Out of the 55, I think we will probably be done in about 10 minutes for the easy fight, which will allow us most likely to take like 50 players for the full hardcore level. which is cool. It's cool because it's more than what we usually guarantee, and I'm always happy if we can get more players to participate in there. Okay, guys, so not so much activity in the chat. Is there any question you would like to ask us? Because there were a lot of discussions even just a few minutes ago on Discord. So that means quite a few of the guys on Discord are not joining us yet. So I'm going to drop their line. Let's see if that will convince them to join us and discuss a bit further with us, so that we have more going on in the chat than what we currently have. I see the numbers, the number of players watching, that is slowly going up. So that's definitely a good thing, especially since this fight night was rescheduled. It's a bit particular, but yeah, it's positive. Oops, that's most likely going to be a draw. I didn't see that one coming, so yeah, great. Okay. So Ares, you're asking if the next fight night will be next week or in 2 weeks. I will actually probably run a survey about that directly in Discord. So probably starting tomorrow, and get your feedback, guys, because I'm pretty much open to both scenarios. Ultimately, if we have it next week, we go back to the schedule that you are used to. If we have it in 2 weeks, we have a schedule that a lot of players were requesting in order for me to be able to tease you what's gonna happen next a bit more than what happened until very recently. So that's why I want to ask players, because yeah, I could see benefits from both options, and I'm fully open to whatever would work best for you. So yeah. What's my favorite music? Oh boy. Okay, do you have an hour and a half? Yeah, okay. So I'm a huge music lover. I play guitar myself in different bands. I play bass as well, and I've been playing in bands for the last 20 years now, almost. Yeah, 20 years. Yeah, I started by listening to punk rock and all those kind of stuff, early 2000s, you know, the Blink, Sum 41 and all of those kind of stuffs, Offspring, etc. And then as I grew up, I went down the rabbit hole of looking for influences of those bands up until I fell in love with the Velvet Underground, the Stooges, those kind of things. And then I went back up again, the other way around, and I started to fall in love more with the Black Sabbath kind of things, then into Black Flag, Fugazi, those kind of things. I had a very huge stoner rock phase after obviously discovering these genres mostly from discovering Queens of the Stone Age and then going to stoner. So that would be bands like, you know, Fu Manchu and Clutch and all of those guys. And then I'm still gravitating towards those kind of music today, but I'm mostly listening to what we call noise rock. So that would be bands like the Melvins, Shellac, those kind of things. Red Fang is a huge band. Of course, Brand Bjork. Of course, not only I've heard of him, but I went to see him play with his band Stoner 2 times last year, if I'm correct. And yeah, I had even the pleasure of meeting him backstage, just saying hi. Not that I was playing in anything that would allow me to go backstage, but because I was doing some interviews and reviews of shows, because I do that a lot. No, I didn't play of anything you would have heard of, I would say. But maybe when the current band, I mean, will have something a bit more developed, I will share that with you guys at one point. Why not? And yeah, if you're into this kind of music, then you might know, obviously, Nick Oliveri, who was playing with Brent Bjork in pretty much all of the bands he's been in at one point or another. And yeah, I've been to tons of shows of Nick Oliveri under all the different bands he's been in, because at least when I play bass, he's one of my big influences. And I had the pleasure to actually interview him and the rest of Mondo Generator last year. Mondo Generator was a band that Brent Bjork actually played drums in the early 2000s. So yeah, that might speak to you a bit more. And yeah, I had the pleasure to spend an after party with the guys from Mondo Generator. Since we're on YouTube, I will probably not tell you everything that happened backstage there. Nothing too fancy, to be honest. But simply put, those guys know how to throw a party, and we had an amazing time. They gave me like 45 minutes of interview or something like this. It was very, very, very cool and interesting. So yeah, that's basically the kind of music that I'm in. I could probably go on for hours about that, so I'm not going to be bothering everyone with this kind of topics. But yeah. Actually, it's not the case today, but very often when I do the community stream, you will see that I'm wearing band t-shirts. So that's also something you can check in general to get an idea of what I'm into. Yeah. Nick screaming on Millionaire is great. Obviously, I actually had the pleasure of singing on stage with Nick Oliveri, because he was playing an acoustic show, and he was playing some of the Queens of the Stone Age songs, including Feel Good Hit of the Summer, and is not allowed to sing the vocals because he didn't write the lyrics, but he contributed to the music, so he can play the music and not have to pay any royalties or any fees or of any sort. But if he wanted to sing the song, he could get into trouble. So usually when he does those kind of shows, for that one track where he can play the music but not the vocals, etc., he's getting people on stage to sing with him. So I actually did that back in Hamburg. And I can even tell you when that was. That was in 2014, because that was during the World Cup of football. And that was the year that Germany won. The last one that Germany won. And it was the night of their game against Brazil. And I remember that because I was watching the show. And every once in a while I would take my phone and just check the scores. And the scores were insane for anyone that follows football and soccer. It was pretty much like 5-0, 5-0 after like 25 minutes or something like that, which for a World Cup of soccer is absolutely insane. And it was in the semi-final, so it was even more ridiculous. So I remember quite vividly which night that was. And that was actually also a great after party with Nick. Definitely a guy that has way more of a punk and rude kind of image than he actually is. If you get to talk to him, he's usually pretty chill, very open, super happy to meet his fans in general. So yeah. Oh, there you go. We have my bard, I guess. If I hear the music, it's probably the bard. So that's you, RS, and you had no issues defeating me quite easily. So, where do we stand with the list? Okay, that's already 47 players. We're almost done. Yeah, I said 10 minutes. Okay, it might be 14 or 15 from where we said that earlier, but still, less than half an hour. Yeah, I get that, RS. Maybe I will try to make the advanced hardcore one just slightly less difficult if I can, because the thing is, I cannot make this one harder, because then that means for anyone that is a new player or just anyone that does not have level 4 or 5 level 4 or 5 artifacts, they would not have any chance, and that wouldn't be great. So yeah, I'll see how I can balance that again. Hey, DOZKAN, yeah, I see that you're talking about the Devourer being killed quite quickly. Yeah, I mean, that's the way it goes, you know. Okay, we have 4 players left in this part. And I did end up winning a few of those fights, which still means that for the players that are supposedly aimed to be in this category, it's quite well balanced. But yeah, definitely some work to do with the hardcore version then. We'll see already how it goes today. The few changes I've done to the advanced hardcore army were mostly stuff so that the fights might be a bit shorter. I hope so. I took out some of the really bulk units, slow, long HP kind of units, and tried to make it a tiny bit more interesting. But we'll see. And yeah, that's the last fight for the easy/normal mode. So right after that, we'll be jumping into the next session. Awesome. So let me just close up this fight night, grant resources to everyone. Yes. And then set up the next one. Should take us just a few seconds. In the meantime, your mission, guys, is to think about anything you'd like to ask, any question you may have, any topic you want to discuss. Yeah, we need you guys to tell us what's going on and to entertain us as well by asking us questions. So think about that while I'm setting up this new fight. So let me recheck quickly the rewards and we'll be able to go. So if I think that's it. Yes, there we go. Okay, let's add everyone in there. Oh wait, no. That's not gonna work, sorry. Discord changes. My bad, I was pretty much going to have the 150 something players to participate all in that fight. That would have not worked well at all. So let me just do this properly this time. I think given the time we should be able to take at least 50 players, and if it goes fast I will add some more in there. Okay, everyone was added. We there, everything we need. Okay, so I can tell you that the first player will be Draco, then we'll have Viktor, Nevermind, Sizop, Kilililil, and NIP. That would be for the first players. Just gonna go to the other accounts and I will copy obviously the list for you guys to see directly in YouTube. Just a second, we are on the good screen. Yes, we can go live. Yes. So, almost there. There we go. Okay. Now I have the list. I can add that to the description and we'll be able to start right after that. Okay. Okay, so now guys, I can tell you that you can refresh your page if you want to see the list and everyone is there. If you want me to get the 200 auto spins for you to be able to check this, I will do that right away and then we'll be able to go. Since I know that some of you wanted me to do that and I can understand why. Let's do this right away. Today we have a bit of time for once. So let's just make this properly. Okay. Let me restart the game. And we should be good to go. In the meantime, I will go back to my fight night to see the list. Everything is still good to go. Yes, perfect. So as soon as we're back in, we can go. So let me check back on the question. Avan, are you on the list? If you checked it and you didn't see your name, that would be no. And yeah, that means you can put back your usual ranked army. The recorded fight night will take place tomorrow, roughly the same time frame. And as usual, I will ping everyone on Discord so that you guys know when it's going on and when it's done. So there we go. We have everything. We have the 200 auto spins and we should be able to start. Let's go. There we go. So Mr. Undercover Anonymous, you were waiting since last week. Yeah, I know we had to cancel last week. I think given the current issues that most players were facing, that would have not been fair for them to see other players participating while they were stuck, especially since quite a few of the affected players were registered for that fight night. So it just made sense to go this route. Yeah, you're on the list this time, Mr. Undercover Anonymous. That's great. That's great. It's important. Okay, first fight, first victory. Wasn't too long. Up for a good start, maybe. And the Unit Express, obviously, we all love the Unit Express, right? So as you can see, what I've done on this army is that I took out some of the bulk units. I added some, I never know the name of the units in English, I'm sorry, because my main account is still in French, but the archer, the single archer, and I've added the wormhole just in case anyone wants to attack my let's call them laser towers, because in English I have no idea what's their name. From behind, at least the wormhole will attract them from there. And that's mostly what I've done, mostly hoping that it will be a tiny bit faster than the last times, and so far it seems to be the case. So yeah. What do you mean, Aven, that it's a very cheesy army? Do you say that because I'm French? That's offensive. And yes, by the way, just like all the stereotypes you would ever hear about French people, I love cheese. But I would say, unlike some of my fellow citizens that believe that cheese is only good in France, I believe that's not true. I think there's amazing cheese all over the world, all over Europe, at least from what I tried. The only difference, I would say, outside of the fact that I grew up with French cheese, so I'm attached to it, is just that we have an insane amount of variety of cheese. But outside of that, Italy, Spain, Switzerland, Netherlands, even Germany, England, they have amazing cheese if you look for it. So, yeah. Oh no, you were saying that for the construct plus armor. Obviously, but I had to go with the joke, right? Arc and Archer, yeah, okay, so it's actually the almost literal translation with the French one. Good to know. So red or white wine? Oh, that's a tricky question. When I was a young adult, I would have definitely picked white wine for a couple of reasons. Mostly because when you're partying or this kind of stuff like you do when you're a young adult, you will drink white wine a lot more because that's something you can easily take, when you're partying or whatever, which you won't do necessarily as much with red wine. And the other reason is that I think that it's easier to get used to the variety of tastes of white wine. And then growing older and older, I am more and more into red wines. Mostly it's to me, it depends on what I'm eating and my meal. So if the meal is pushing me into one type of wine, that's what will dictate it most of the time. And yeah, that's the main reason, I would say. If you live in Greece, you will find out that French are not cheese eaters. Actually, that's true. I have a few friends from Greece that I met when I was living in Germany. And yeah, they were huge cheese eater. I wouldn't say necessarily that they were eating more cheese than we do. I would say though that they were cooking way more cheese. So they were having tons of meals with cheese cooked, and not only like your basic gated cheese kind of thing, or goat cheese, but a lot of variety of cheese and meals made with cheese, that's for sure. As for eating more cheese per meal per se in volume, I'm not so sure, but maybe I didn't meet the Greek eaters, Greek cheese eaters that are eating more, or maybe I am a French guy that eats a lot more cheese than the average. I don't know. But yeah. You live in the wrong country because you love beers? Well, I've been lucky enough to live in a few countries that are pretty much paradise for beers, because obviously Germany, you know, even if you don't like the typical Pils and German beers, nowadays there's basically so many breweries in Germany that are making crazy good beers that it's hard not to find something you like. And I also had the pleasure to live for almost an entire year in Highland, which obviously, you know, it's the stout and it's very specific, but they have a lot of other hidden gems, I would say. Like if you like a lighter kind of red beer, red ale type of beer, the Smithix is quite awesome. Sadly, you barely ever find it outside of Highland. But yeah, I was lucky for that. The sad part is I was never able to live in the one country that makes the beer that I love the most, which is Belgium. I'm a huge fan of Belgian beers. I've been lucky to go to Belgium a few times and try it out, but yeah, that's actually a place I would like to live in, to be honest. So yeah. Let me catch it there. Anyway, try a Stomper plus Phylactery Swarm, and it could help you win. Oh, that's a good advice for people. Hi, Swap Gaming. Which style? Joseph, I'm not sure what you mean here. If you're asking me what style of beers I'm into. Personally, I'm really into triple fermentation beers. So that would be your very old beer brewed in the old classical way in Belgium. Super strong blonde beers. You would usually be at 8, 9, 10%. So super strong beers. I just love it. The only problem with those kind of beers is if you don't pay attention to the fact that they're super strong and you cannot drink too many of those. I remember going to a bar in Germany with a colleague of mine that was from the US, and he just arrived in Europe. We went to a bar and we ordered some drinks, and he was mostly, since he arrived in Europe, drinking German beers, and German beers are usually not that powerful in terms of alcohol. And then he started to order what we were ordering, and I ordered a triple. He had no idea what it was. And yeah, it was quite interesting to see the effect of 1 pint of super strong beer on someone that has been growing up with Coors Lights and this kind of super light beers. Yeah, that was something for sure. Oh, you mean the wheat beer? Sorry, yeah, I was not reading it the proper way. Not necessarily the wheat. The ones I like would be the lambic, and especially I'm actually into the krieks, so the lambics that are usually cherry or raspberry flavored, but not a beer that you add the aromas after the fermentation, but actually beers that are fermented with this fruit from the get-go. That's why it's quite different to have a lambic from just a beer with flavors added to it. And yeah, the Krieg's proper good ones, I quite like it. And I'm also liking from time to time a beer called the Faro, which is basically a beer made with cane sugar in it. No, not cane sugar, candy sugar, sorry. And it's quite specific because, again, it's not a flavor that they add at the end or something chemical. It's something that takes place from the very start of the fermentation. And I quite dig it. And yes, triples could be bad when you drink too many of them and you are hangover the next day. Yeah, for sure. But that's the benefit of getting slightly older, at least for me, is that I'm barely never drinking crazy amounts anymore. So if I'm cautious with what I do, I don't run into this kind of issues anymore, at least. Okay, so at least the fights are running shorter than they used to a few weeks back, and there seems to be a balance in terms of the wins and defeat ratio. So that means the changes I've made are not too stupid, and it actually seems to be fulfilling the purpose that I had with this. So that's good to know. We are already 15, 16 players in. Yeah, that's good to go. Good to know. Okay, so we talked about beers, we talked about wine, we talked about cheese. Is there any other food and drinks related topics that you guys want me to cover since we're on that? Otherwise, I will try to go back and talk about the game a little more, because that's what should be the most interesting for most of you, right? So a few things I would like to mention regarding the game at the moment. One thing is, again, just explaining a bit further what happened in the last few weeks on the technical side and why there were so many issues for the Android players. That's roughly what I tried to explain on Discord, but it's important to understand that when you have a game like this one, there's a lot going on in the background of the game, and I'm not a development expert, so my terminology won't be 100% accurate, but you're not developing everything from scratch. You're using tons of tools that are built by other companies, other experts that are built to do very specific things like retrieve data from X type of software to convert it for this kind of output, this type of things. And you're going to be using those modules, those libraries, etc., those different technologies all over the place. The thing is, with Battle Legion, most of those libraries, modules, etc., are rather outdated. They've not been updated in a very long time, actually. And so what we currently face as an issue is that we have to make those updates because they are now mandatory from Google's side. But right now it's Google, but it could have been Apple. It would have been the same. So that's why there's been updates regularly. And the way we fixed the issues yesterday was actually by doing a Firebase update, for those that know a bit more about development. So that's, again, one of those internal structural elements. And just by doing this update, we improved the performance of the game, and that alone was able to get rid of these issues that we are facing, because with the new Unity version, there were some clashes and issues with the interdependence of different libraries and different tools that we are using. Long story short, what happens is you have a game, the graphic engine that we're using is Unity, and you have tons of different softwares that come into play, plus the store, plus the OS that you guys are using on your devices. And anytime there's an update to any one of those things, the interdependencies that you can get between those elements can be messed up. And that's why we need to make sure we keep everything up to date as much as possible. And that's what we're trying to catch up on. We should be pretty much done now with those structural updates. I think there will still be the need for some stuffs by the end of the year to be fully prepared for next year. But then pretty much we should be good to go back to what we usually do on those games, which is regular, very small, very discrete updates of one element at a time, which allows us to check everything, make sure everything, that all the relations with the other modules, etc., are working just fine, and that there's no problem that we couldn't foresee. So that's what we want to check. It's also important to note that some of those things we cannot always fully test it internally, simply because there are some of those tools and elements that are only relevant in the live environment. For example, the fact that some OS versions of some devices will reject specific elements. That's something that we cannot necessarily spot, because in order to make sure we spot all of those, we will need to be able to test every single changes on every single possible OS version, and that's not possible, because let's say you're talking about just iOS and Android. It's not just that you need to test it on all the current available versions or supported versions of those iOS and Androids, like iOS 15.1 or whatever, and Android 18 whatever. You need to test it on the specific device-specific versions as well, because some brands have specific versions of Android and Google tailored for them. That's why you had a lot of people that had issues a few days back with Google Pixel devices, because the Google Pixels, being made by Google, they use a specific version of the Android version that is tailored for Google. And you have that with different brands. Some brands are using a fairly simple, basic, raw version of the OS, but a lot of the big brands are specifically changing a few things here and there, and that leads to this kind of issues sometimes. So, long story short, we know it's been a bit of a problem. We had to face issues that were not really something we could even foresee happening, but now we should be good with that, and we should be back on track, which is definitely a good thing. Also because that necessarily delayed other stuff we were working on, because for the last week, all of our resources on the development side went on to fixing those issues and updating everything we could. So that's definitely something we are happy that we worked on. Okay, what else can I tell you about the game at the moment? What I can tell you is that we are starting to evaluate an event that we would like to introduce into the game. I cannot tell you yet too much details about it, but the idea is to have an event making it into the game before we can release a full-fledged Clan Wars as everyone is expecting, because the Clan Wars is something that will still take a lot of time, and we know about it. Because to explain it briefly, to make a Clan War, you don't need just the event. There's other stuff you will need, like you need an actual PvP system with a specific matchmaking that does not exist at the moment, because you have a matchmaking for the rank mode, but that would be radically different from the matchmaking we would need to build up. You would need a matchmaking that is specific for picking which clan will fight against which clan. You need to build up the different rankings, but you need to also have different set of rewards. You need to potentially have a league system for the different clans to be able to still feel like they're winning, even if they're a lower profile, so that they can feel like they're fighting against some decent opposition. There are a lot of things to consider, but also we would need a lot of new additional features for the clans themselves, meaning probably we would need to improve the communication you have in your clan. We need to add some more systems in there, new type of resources that you would use for the clan wars, new bonuses that you can unlock for the entire clans, for the clan wars, etc. So it's a lot of stuff that would need to be implemented. So since we know it's going to take time, and we also know how vital it is to have something that allows for clans to fight for something, we are working on something that is a bit easier to put into motion, but that will already kick off this competition feeling. So something we already discussed and told you about is that we're working right now on a form of a global boss. Imagine a red boss system, but instead of just having your clan fighting that boss, and every clan is fighting their own boss as it currently is, you would have an event where everyone on the server is fighting one gigantic boss with an insane amount of HP, etc. And the idea would be that you would get ranks based on how good the clans are performing. So clans could really say, we won that event against X or Y or Z, and there would be rewards based on those rankings. And you would also have an individual ranking. So that would allow you for this event to say, okay, here's the player that dealt the more damage during that event. Here is the team that ranked the highest and kicked everyone out for this event, and you would get rewards for this. But you would also get rewards as, you know, a smaller player that just wants to participate, because the idea is, if as a community altogether we manage to kill the boss, defeat all of its HP, everyone will get rewards. And so that means you would not be in a system like you have right now, where you kill the red boss and it comes back and you look at how many times you killed it. It would be, we have an event running, and if we don't kill it, we'll have, like, you will get your ranking prizes, obviously, but outside of that, you will just have consolation prize because you didn't kill it. But if as a community altogether we're able to kill it, everyone will get their ranking prizes, which would be the same as if we don't kill it. But on top of that, everyone will get additional rewards for the fact that the community altogether managed to kill the boss. So that's something we're looking at the moment, because that would be rather simple to put into motion, because it's pretty much existing mechanism. When I say simple, don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean next week it's going to be there. But it's something that we could be looking without having to tell you, oh, it's going to be 6 or 9 months or whatever. It's something that could be viable within a reasonable time frame. And it's something where clans would already be able to fight for something, get rewards for being the best on that event, potentially get titles dedicated for winning this event and being able to display that they won this event. Maybe they can get exclusive skins, you know, for defeating that boss or stuff like that, on top of proper rewards, of course. The community altogether would get something for contributing, and everyone would get something for individual ranking as well. So that's mostly what we're looking at right now. That could be exciting for everyone to check. Okay, guys, so we're actually going quite fast at the moment. We already have 30 players that passed, which means we have 20 left. Depending on when we finish, if we are able to finish before within the next half an hour. Then I will add a few more players to participate today. If we're not able, like if we finish in half an hour, we will keep it at that for today. So that's it's 1 hour and a half for a stream, and it's good. But if I see that we finish a bit earlier, I will try to put 5 or 10 players more, depending on the time we have, so that more players have the benefit of being part of this. But yeah, that's mostly the other thing is I need to take into consideration that players most likely already checked if they were on the list, and they might not join because they believe they're not going to be on for today. So yeah, let's see. So let me check where we stand. Right now it's Zuriel. Yes, 33. We have 17 players left to go. Cool. Okay, guys, anything else that I can share with you? As you know, we are still planning on releasing something quite interesting for you guys in the upcoming weeks. It's not an actual new in-game feature per se, but something that everyone should be benefiting from. Well, not everyone, but players will be benefiting from. So I hope that we will be able to tell you more about that really quickly. It should have been something that we released already, but given the circumstances with the crashes and such, we basically couldn't go for that, so we had to delay things a little more. Yeah, and I wanted also to touch on the Halloween content that we released today, because I've seen a lot of feedback about it already. Super happy to see that most of you are liking the skins that we've added, because I had very, very, very strong, very positive vibes about this. I felt like this was going to be something you would all very much enjoy, so I'm glad that this is the case. Now, obviously, I know that some of you would like it to be for Eternite. The thing is, for brand new content, it's almost impossible for us to make it and give it out for Eternite, simply because too many players have been stacking up on Eternites for a long time, and that would mean a big amount of players would be able to basically get them for free, or let's say that what would happen is either we would get frustrated players because they would use up their Eternite and would not get the new skins, and would not get any new skins, only the duplicates policy conversion, and people would be pissed off because they used up their Eternite that they stacked up for that. Those that were not able to stack up would feel highly frustrated that there's something new but they cannot get it, even though it's for a currency that they have. At least when it's gems, if you are not into spending your gems for cosmetic, you're not going to be too frustrated that it's for gems, because you already made up your mind that you're not going to use your gems for that. But if it's for Eternite, since you don't have any other way to use it, there would be more frustration coming from this. But also, given the amount of Eternites that players have and that we give in the game, we would have to make it very expensive in Eternite, and that's not really ideal. So our direction is exclusive brand new skins. They will be available most of the time for gems, and over time they will come into the Eternite wardrobes, which we will edit from time to time, as we've been doing, and we'll keep on doing that. And also, maybe more than once a year, but at least for now it's been once a year since we started, there will be the anniversary event where you can actually use up Eternites to get a lot of skins that were never available for Eternites before. So that's pretty much the way we work on this, meaning that if you're not spending gems, or if you're not, if you're not spending gems, or if you're not, 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 if you're willing to go for the season pass or those kind of things. It's true that it's complicated to get brand new exclusive skins, but you still get new skins using your Eternite regularly. It's simply that you're not getting the brand new fresh ones. But then again, if we were to allow people to get it for free, that would mean most likely the people that are currently spending for that would not need to spend for that, right? So it's just a situation where it wouldn't be really sane for the game to go that road. And ultimately that would mean less resources for us to develop features, or, you know, even, let's be realistic, the issues that we faced this week, it took a big team of people working on that to get everything sorted. And it already took us an entire week to get everything sorted. If we were to have way less resources because we decide to give out everything, maybe we would have not been able to fix that this fast. It's just the economic reality behind this. And I'm trying to always be very honest about that. So that's why I'm bringing that up. Hey, DOZKAN, you're asking if Traplight's code is messy. I'm not a developer, so I cannot say if the code is messy. I don't think it's the code that it's messy. The only thing I can say is what I shared with you guys on Discord, and it's the fact that there were many elements that were not up to date. But that's not necessarily a critique against Traplight, simply because they pretty much wanted probably to update things when it would get mandatory, like we are currently doing. The only difference is because they didn't do it in the past, we had to do all of it at once. And it's not necessarily something that anyone could foresee, because sometimes it could take years before Google is asking for you to update everything. And this year, you've had not only Google asking for those kind of things, but you had Unity and a few other big libraries and tools that are requesting for that. So I'm not blaming Traplight for not updating these tools, etc. I'm just explaining what was the situation and where it comes to be. As for the code per se, I can't say because I'm not a developer, so I don't have much to share on that side. I don't think it's that messy because I've never seen any of our developers making this claim. Mostly all I can say is yes, there were quite a few elements that were not updated, and we were right now in a situation where we need all of those to be updated. Some people could say, oh, they should have updates regularly to not face this kind of situation. Yes, it's easy to say afterwards, but at the same time, there are many companies that will be spending years without updating those libraries and will never face issue because they won't need to do this. So yeah, I'm not blaming them for anything. To be honest, we are still extremely happy with the game they left us. So mostly, I'm not trying to blame anyone. I'm just trying to explain where the issues we faced came from, pretty much. Hey, Greenfoot is currently fighting. I'm not sure if we have Greenfoot in the channel right now. I don't think he is here. Well, too bad, my friend. You're not gonna be seeing this fight. And depending on how it goes, it might be a good thing for you not to see the outcome. I'm not sure. Not sure yet. Yeah, maybe you will do it. No, I think... Yeah, it's a good thing that you were not there, Greenfoot. I'm sorry. Better luck next time. More luck next time. Okay, we are slowly getting there. We are at player 43 on our list already. So yeah, I'm quite glad with the choices I've made for the army. If it makes the army fight faster, I also feel, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like my device is catching up a tiny bit faster with the game. And I believe that this is new. This is due to the latest version that I installed as well. I don't know how you feel. Let me know if you feel like it's just a view from my mind, but I really feel like my device is coping just a tiny bit better with what's going on the screen. Obviously, moments like this make me look stupid for saying that, because right now it's not coping at all with everything that is happening. But overall, when I look at the entire session today, I feel like it's tiny bit better, and that's definitely a good thing. Okay, so we still have some players to go. And I think you guys lost the sound completely. It happens from time to time. Oh, it's back, okay. Okay, we're slowly getting there. The win rate is actually, the win ratio is actually quite good this time around. It's not too high, so it means there's still a lot of players that are able to defeat it, but it's not too bad, and it's a bit faster. So yeah, I think I did well. I will pat on myself for my small changes there. Okay, guys, do you have any further question you would like for us to answer before the end of this fight night? Because we are slowly getting there. We have like, what, 5 players to go after Gaia Dragon, so it's gonna be rather fast. As I was saying, I will probably add 5 players, 10 players on there, so that we make it an hour and a half. So the Devourer takes the full 20% damage from Spare, which renders it very weak. Do you think it would be really time consuming to change that? Red bosses typically take less damage from Spare. That's something we can look into. I don't know if that would be that much work. I couldn't tell you exactly, but yeah, we can definitely look into that at least. Madre Mario asking who would be the 10 players. I will do that right away. You're right. That's a good catch. Let me add 10 players right after this fight. So I will stop the auto spin, and this way we will be able to put the event in edit mode, add the 10 players, and go back to it. Won't take too long. See, that's why I say that my device is coping a bit better, because that's usually in the overtime, my device had huge troubles coping with the fast animations, and it seems to be okay here. So, okay, let's go pause to edit. Okay, if I add 10 participants, they're added in here where Okay, so I need to put the players that were there. Just a second, I need to put a few players back at the top and we'll be there. Right time, okay, now we have the proper look, so let me take it from here. So as I'm adding these to the game, save, okay, I can tell you, Madremar, that it will be Juice, Paper Tiger, Cayman, Xavier, Doomsoul, Dead, Reaping Hood, Tsa, Nubimus, Maximus, King Elric, Aita, and Trushishka. I recognize some of those names, so I know some of those guys have been in here a few times already. So just the time for me to copy the names. Come on. Okay, and we go from... Sorry guys, just a bit of copy pasting to do and we'll be back. And I'm almost done. Okay, there we go, the rest of the list. I'm adding it to YouTube right away. There we go, it's saved. We can put back the auto spin and we should be back at it. Let me check because I don't think it's the good name there. Oh, I know why. That's okay. That will be a fight for nothing. Okay, now it will work. Yes, we're back at it with Alanor, and we have therefore 13 players to go. The list is properly edited on YouTube, so you can refresh the page and see if you're in there. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. Just gonna be tagging a few players that I know are on Discord most likely and don't know that they're gonna be in the stream. There we go, just a small message to let Tsa and a few others know that they've been added to the fight night for today. Cool, guys. So yeah, we still have 10 minutes to go, a few more than 10 accounts, perfectly timed. We will be able to finish right on time today, and that's cool. Okay, so is there any last final questions that you guys would have? Because again, we still have a tiny bit of time, not too much, so it's pretty much now or never. That's a draw, that's fine, because I thought I would get killed. See, that's why I'm saying that for my device. I really see that the draws are getting faster. And it's not because we changed the duration of the draws, so it's just that my device is coping with this better, and I can only say that it has to be thanks to the last update, because I didn't change anything else on my end. So yeah, that's good news. Any progress on the trophy discrepancy issue? Sadly, not yet. As you can imagine, pretty much all the development team was focused entirely on the crash and login issues this week. So I hope that by next week, or early next week, I will be able to tell you much more about it. There's been some progress made before the crashes happen. That means we were pretty much able to decipher where are the values coming from. Now what we need to know is why is there a discrepancy, and also why this discrepancy lives on even after a season, because that's the main concern to me. Is not the fact that it's not perfectly correct live at the moment you're checking it, but once the season is over, this should be adding up, right? And that's the situation that we want to get fully clarified in there, and it's not the case at the moment. So we need to find out what is going on exactly here. The other thing I wanted to ask you, actually, Matt Remar, about that is if, in the case of your clan, if you had any of those accounts that might be inactive, meaning that, you know, they would still have their trophies displayed, but they might be out of the ranking list, like not the ranking, the matchmaking list, because I'm wondering if that might be the justification, because the system might be excluding them as well from the global count of the ranking. That's one thing I thought about. I'm not sure if that would even make sense. Maybe you guys will know more about that than me, and maybe you have no account that would be in that situation. But I know that when an account is inactive, at one point it's taken out from the matchmaking, but it's still in the clan, etc. So that might be the reason I could think about, if it's taken out of the matchmaking, but it's still part of a clan. That could explain the discrepancy potentially. Okay, guys, we're slowly getting there. Well, actually not that slowly, but we're getting there. We still have 7 players to go. So now the main question for me, guys, is, are you gonna use those gems that you're getting from the Fight Night to get yourself a chance of getting the new skins? Because that's what I would do. But then again, it's mostly because I'm not a highly competitive player, so I can afford to use the gems I get in the game and such only for cosmetics at this point. I know that it would not necessarily be the same for you guys, but yeah, just wondering if any of you is planning on getting some skins thanks to that. That would be a nice thing for me to check. Also, that's something we could consider if you guys are interested. We could at one point decide to have a Fight Night where you would get skins, right? Like not the brand new exclusive ones, because since a lot of players are winning, that would be quite insane, etc. But we could technically say, hey, you know what? Today you're fighting to get that skin, or you're fighting to get this portrait or this battlefield, and depending on what it is, if it's a portrait or battlefield, we could add that with still a small amount of gems. Or if it's a great skin, maybe you would be able to do it otherwise. Tsa, you're perfectly on time. Your turn will be in probably, well, just after that fight. So you're perfectly on time, and I'm glad that I tagged you on Discord. That you are one of the first and probably few players I ever tagged for the fight night, so I hope that you enjoyed this. Yeah, thank you for the ping. So the only reason why I pinged you specifically and named a few other is that I knew that you are on the Discord server. For some of the other players in the list, I just didn't know. I think Sushishka is also on the Discord server, but that's the problem when you have a mushroom in your player name, is that it's super hard for me to ping you on Discord. It's not that easy, so yeah. Right time, can you tag you next time? So, to be clear, I'm not going to be tagging everyone because I cannot. The reason why I tagged Tsa and I could have tagged you as well is I tagged Tsa and not you, sorry, because Tsa was part of 10 players that I added to the list we shared earlier in the stream, because we had a bit more time today. We finished a bit earlier than expected, so I decided to add more players to the live stream. That's why I didn't tag you right time, but I tagged Tsa. I cannot tag everyone because, you know, there's a lot of you that are on Discord and that would be very complicated. But what I can guarantee is if we have a case like this where we're adding a few players, and if I know that you're on the Discord server, I will try to tag you, because that's, you know, benefiting everyone. If we can get a few more players in there, it's definitely a cool thing. Okay, Tsa, I'm sorry because I tagged you, but it does seem like it's gonna be a victory for me. Or a draw, maybe? Yeah, with all the reviving, it might be a draw, actually. It was your wrong build. Oh, I'm sorry, Tsa. That's still a draw, so that's still, if I remember correctly, the numbers, it's like 300 gems. Yeah, 300, I think. So, yeah, not that bad. That's okay. I guess it's still a fairly good amount. But yeah, as I was saying earlier, if you guys would be interested from time to time to have an exclusive fight night where you guys go in for a specific skin, again, that would not be the brand new exclusive skins or brand new exclusive portraits, etc., because that's the marketing team will tell me no. But yeah, if you want to have something like this where we allow you guys to get your hands on an old cosmetic that has not been available in the past or something like this, you could let me know, and then what we could do is, in the case that you already have it, you could reach out to me and get another skin of a similar value. Like, we could give you a pool of 3 or 4 skins to pick from in case you already have the one that we would fight for. Or I don't know, it's just a suggestion. If you feel like that would be interesting for you, just let me know and we can think about something like that. And in general, actually, any type of rewards you would be interested in getting outside of gem or on top of a certain amount of gem, etc., I'm only in for trying to mix things up and doing something like this. The blue nighttime battlefield map from Journey mode. The thing is, for that, I would just need to check if you can actually own it as a player and use it, because I'm not 100% sure. If you can use it as a player and it's just never been released, then that could be something we fight for. And yeah, we are almost there. After Aita, we will still have Truzishka, and then that will be it for today. But yeah, Matrema, I will definitely ask if that is a battlefield that could be available to players. Because if it is, then I'm all in for doing something like this. It's, you know, ultimately, anything that could make the fight night more exciting for you guys is gonna be interesting. And also, the way I see it is if we make some fight nights with specific type of rewards, it might also allow for a bigger rotation of players, you know. Bye, Itza. See you next time, most likely. Can you release the fight night builds earlier? Yeah, I try usually to do it the day before. I'll be honest with you, with the issues that we faced and the number of meetings I've been part of, and basically the monitoring that I've done with the community over the past few days, within all the private messages and helping out the support team, etc. I just didn't have the time this time to do it a bit earlier. But lately, I was trying usually to do it on the Tuesdays, so that you have at least a day to check on that. And to be honest, based on what I'm seeing here, I would expect the next one to be very close to that. I don't think there will be massive changes. Maybe I will spice one thing or two to make it like the advanced hardcore one. I don't think there will be much changes. The easy one, there might be more changes, because this one was like a frozen one for this era, and when we get to the new era, we'll probably adapt it. But the hardcore one, I don't expect to see a lot of changes there. And I think we will finish on a draw, actually. Okay. Yeah, guys, we actually did it. I typically have to leave my build up overnight to make it. Yeah, I can imagine. It's one of the downsides to the fight night in general, is that if I release it too early anyway, let's put it the other way around. The problem is usually I don't have the bandwidth and the time to make it way earlier. And if I release it too late, obviously it's a problem for you guys. But being able to do it the day before should help. And then having to, the fact that you have to leave it on for too long, there's not that much I can do about that. The hour for the fight night is communicated as soon as we can, and it's pretty much always the same. And then for the recorded fight night, it's always on Thursday. It's almost always at 3 in the afternoon for my time. So I don't know what time it will be for you, but it's usually 2 hours earlier than what we do on the Wednesdays. And that's pretty much it. I'm tagging everyone before for the recorded one. That's pretty much all I can do. But yeah, if you think of anything that could help you out and such, just let me know and we will gladly put that into motion. Okay, guys, that basically concludes today's fight night. As a reminder, if you were not in today's fight night, you will be in the recorded session that will be shot tomorrow. There will be a message on Discord before it happens with the actual time at which it will happen, so that you have time to switch your armies. And there will be a message on Discord when it is over, so that you can switch back your armies. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We are finishing right on time, because as you can see, it's getting dark for me in here. So yeah, we made it just about an hour and a half. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you for bearing with us through the special issues we've had on Android over the past few days. Very glad that we were able to sort this out. And yeah, we'll see you soon with the next stream. One last reminder, we will have a survey tomorrow on Discord to decide whether you want the next stream to be next week or in 2 weeks, depending on the rhythm you would like us to follow. Both options are fully fine from our hands. We just want to hear from you. So that's it for now. Thank you very much, guys, and have a wonderful evening. Thank you, Matt. I'm doing my best to be as honest and transparent as I can. Maybe a bit too much at times. Some people might not be too happy about that, but at least I'm doing my best there. Thank you again, guys, and have a wonderful evening. Bye.